Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, thank you for watching my video about the watch market coming off. Something funny I wanted to mention here is a term that we use a lot when talking about risky assets like stocks. It is unwinding. Right now, market's coming off, people are unwinding risky assets, and unwinding is the natural state of any wound mechanical watch. So it applies quite well to our hobby. But more seriously, we have interest rates going up in the US, so less free money going around. We have a war in Europe. China stuck between a rock and a hard place between COVID and a slowing down economy, trying to boost it up, and not really agreeing between each other there how to do it. So a lot of things negative around. And watches in particular, we are coming into the holiday season where people are spending on other things, on traveling, especially now that COVID is slowing down. And typically the hot times for watches, at least here in Asia, is March, April, when bonuses get paid, much more than Christmas. And so we're coming out of that season. And at the same time, we have the whole world economy not doing so good. That's going to influence a lot the watch market for the coming 2 months. And it's normal, every market, especially the hot markets, have peaks and dips. And it's not necessarily bad for dealers, What's bad, just like in the stock market, is when nothing moves. If everything is flat and nobody buys, nobody sells, then you can't make your margins. So it's not necessarily bad for the well-established dealers. Another thing to mention is that when markets are bad, bankers on trading floors don't really want to show off too much wealth, especially a fancy watch or a new suit. So that too is gonna influence if they want to be able to negotiate a decent bonus at the end of this difficult year. We could see also less interest into watches, and less interest into paying up for watches when the rest of the economy is doing so bad. So that is really about seasonality, something that's also common to the stock markets. What I'm seeing right now already is that the piggyback models, as I like to call them, the models that went up in sympathy with the very hype models, for example, some two-tone Zenith Power Daytonas, or the two-tone discontinued GMT Master 2s, they rose out of the blue by $3,000-4,000, even more dollars, and now the prices are coming already back down lower than the MSRP of the comparable current production models with the new movements and everything, which is something that's never really good for Rolex. And that's the reason why they never really increase too much the MSRPs, because they try to preserve the value of the watches they have sold to their customers, much like Patek does. But it's more difficult for Rolex because of the amount of watches. And so what I'm seeing right now in the buy-sell ad, this morning I was just looking, I just typed Rolex to see what had been put on sale in the past 24 hours, and it is shocking. The amount of metal in the market is ridiculous, and individuals are going to slash down prices more than dealers, of course, who have a vested interest in a larger portfolio of watches. And so the real market is a bit better to gauge when you look at those prices set by individuals. The problem that I think the watch market in particular had is Chrono 24 and a big platform like Watchfinder, which now belong to big conglomerates, partially or fully LVMH and Richemont, who have a vested interest into controlling the price of their own brands, stocks, and also participating into the exploding second-hand watch market. And so there's very little elasticity of those prices. The market is very inefficient for watches in what it shows. And the only real way to know is try to sell a watch yourself, or go see a dealer and lowball the hell out of it. I think this is the moment to do it. It's certainly not the moment to go and pay up in this market. And yet this morning again, you open your Instagram and you see those crazy auction results, and the new Rolex GMT Master 2, the Sprite left-handed, already shown at insane prices, $60,000 I think for that one. Dude, what do we know about who's showing that and what is being really traded? I don't think anybody has bought at those prices that new Sprite GMT Master 2, and one has to wonder why they would be already on the second-hand market. Is it such a bad watch that people who get to buy it don't keep it, right? I think it's a fair question, isn't it? But yeah, it was expected that the first price would be insane. I remember when the Bad Girl came out, it was I think David SW setting 23,000 right out of the gate, and now we're in the 60s. I don't buy it, and I don't think anybody's actually buying them. As for the auction for the Tiffany Dial Oyster Perpetual, what do we know? It might just be a dealer who's holding 20 of them, purchased at $20,000, and he just wants to spruce up the price. For them, it makes sense. Or it's just somebody who has too much money. And let's not forget that there are tons of people in the world who have too much disposable money. But again, when all the other assets come off, maybe they won't be as willing to put it in watches when the market has reached its top, certainly. The next thing we have to wonder is what happens when all the dealers start turning down watches, start paying less than what flippers have paid at the authorized dealers when they had to pay the premium, or turning down stock straight from the authorized dealers here in Hong Kong. You know, a lot of stock goes straight to the second-hand dealers. What happens when they start turning down because they still have so much stock? Today I took a mini safari. You're seeing the pictures on the screen, and every watch dealer here in Hong Kong has all the same watches. None of them is rare. There are some rare Rolex, but it's not the one you think about. It's not the ones that were made out to be rare on Instagram, and that you know that, of course. But for example, some special dials on some dates, on some Datejusts, I think that's going to come back into fashion, and that's going to be something that's a bit more steady. You're not going to make double from 1 week to the next, but in the long term, that's the sort of watch that's going to remain special. Just like the gem set, the only thing that's really done by hand at Rolex, the gem set watches, those are very special as well. And in doubt, yeah, Patek is still the king of controlling the value of their stocks. So remember, rarity, brand, quality, and beauty of the watch, which is what matters the most. All right, guys, put some comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you would pay for Rolex GMT Master 2 black and green left-handed watch. Bye bye.